We them, Dallas Cowboys. We them, Dallas Cowboys. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. Somos Dallas Vaqueros. Somos Dallas Vaqueros. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. Puro Cowboys with the stars in the D. You know where we at, that's AT&T. Holding if dub, pulling up real deep. It's game time, baby, like that we gon' eat. Like bring out the next top, we for Prescott. Defense strong, ain't stopping us. Making they next pop, even our mascot clean. That's why they knocking us. Like ooh, our team the truth. Even in Cali, they ripping us too. And it feels dream, America's team. Stepping the scene wherever we gleam. Ayy, rocking that throwback, Cowboys on hold back. We push forward, don't fall back. Haters, they know that we the best, no cap. We stay down like fall flat. Win or lose, we don't pick and choose. We stay loyal to the gang squad. Pick a crew, we got plenty too. Everybody throwing stars up. Ayy, that's all day. Sunday pray, then we play. Blue and gray, only way. We got team, that's what I say. We them, Dallas Cowboys. We them, Dallas Cowboys. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. Somos Dallas Vaqueros. Somos Dallas Vaqueros. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. A-South Texas like puro Cowboys. East Texas like puro Cowboys. West Texas like puro Cowboys. Austin and San Antonio, puro Cowboys. New Mexico and Arizona, puro Cowboys. Arkansas and Oklahoma, puro Cowboys. Mexico City like puro Cowboys. En Monterrey dicen puro Cowboys. A Rowdy Nation like puro Cowboys. Cowboys Nation like puro Cowboys. Cowboy like family, puro Cowboys. Even Raymond Norta, puro Cowboys. We them, Dallas Cowboys. We them, Dallas Cowboys. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. Somos Dallas Vaqueros. Somos Dallas Vaqueros. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys. Puro Cowboys, puro Cowboys.
And you know it's always Puro Cowboys online. What's going on, y'all? It is the day after recap show. We are live in the lab with a special edition today. But before we get started, man, special shout out to SA Halo out there in the DFW Metroplex with the tight jams coming in. It's still Cowboys on mine. So if you still Cowboys today, even though you know them haters big talking about you bad out there in the streets, I need y'all to show up today. We're going to have a little discussion. We got a special guest. We're going to introduce no stranger here, but maybe she might be. But she's representing for all the ladies. So y'all tune in today for the day after recap show. What up to all my Cowboy cousins that are tapping in live on all 4 platforms. We are live on here today. So let's get some shout outs to everybody on Facebook. Shout out to everybody on LinkedIn where all the professionals are at over there. We see y'all, all the professionals. How y'all doing on Sunday today? Shout out to X over there. You know that platform owned by Elon Musk. And lastly, shout out to all of the subs on YouTube that have been watching us. Shout out to my guy, Troy Park, who was chiming in early on the YouTube before we even got in the gym. I see you, Troy. Said, let's get this workout in, y'all. What's going on, everybody? We are live in the lab. Let's get a few shout outs to see all our cousins that are rolling, that are up today. If you still represent them Cowboys, I know them haters bad. I mean, them haters are bad out there, y'all. I know they're acting like preseason matters, y'all. We're going to talk about that. But I see you, Nicole. What up, King Sharon? We got the prototype on the line. What up, Ben? Wouldn't be a show without a Facebook user. I bet it's probably one of my cousins. Might even be RC. I think he's on a plane ride back to Alaska. So we'll get to that in just a second. What up, Kelly? We see you represent for the ladies on the East Coast. Appreciate you tapping in here. But yeah, we have the day after recap show, and we've got a special guest here that's going to chop it up for the ladies. So if you're the ladies that love them boys here today, I know y'all got to excuse me. May sound like my voice is a little, I tried to keep my voice from the game last night, even though I was way up there. I was trying to keep my voice here, so excuse me today if my voice may crack. Y'all, all my diehards know the feeling, if you know what I mean. What up, Cleve? We see you tapping in. Come on, y'all. Let's raise the bar, man. We got a special guest here today. Come on now, green badges. Let's go. If you got a green badge and you're tapping in here today, I need you to raise the bar. That means share this video. We have a special guest we're going to bring on here right about now. I know she's nervous, and it's okay. We all get nervous, but she represents for the ladies. Y'all know her as an OAT admin. She's been putting it down for the streets of Corpus Christi out there in the Lone Star State. She's puro Cowboys, if you know what I mean. But let's welcome Caitlyn with the context to the show.
Hey, guys. What's up?
Caitlyn from Corpus Christi with the context. How are we doing today down there in the Lone Star State?
It is hot, way too hot. But other than that, we're doing pretty good.
Nice. Well, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show here. I know we've been having some technical difficulties, and of course, that kind of happens kind of like our Cowboys last night.
Yes.
They had some technical difficulties. Would you agree? I think it was injury. I don't know. Overshawn was out. I'll just share with you. It's a different experience when you go to the games. Like, I didn't even see the Overshawn injury until I started checking Facebook, of course, while I was in the stadium, and then said that the young lad has got an ACL tear. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right. A lot of the reports coming back are fearing that he's got an ACL tear.
Man, it's just terrible. I hate to wish, don't even like to wish injury on nobody, but hate to see any player injured, especially on the Dallas Cowboys, especially that young guy right there, his dreams. I can only imagine what he may be going through. So y'all put your hands together. Y'all put some prayers together for our guy Overshawn. I didn't actually see the injury. I didn't see it carted off. So I was like, man, he got carted off. Like, this is not good. I know he's a rookie, but we're talking preseason here, right?
Right. Yes. Just waiting for that MRI report to come back. Hopefully all clear.
Man, I don't know. Getting carted off, I don't think, from what I'm hearing from the experts, at least I follow, it doesn't sound too good when you get carted off. But yes, prayers up for the best case scenario as we take a look at the recap. It's Caitlyn with BG with the recap show today. The Cowboys traveled up to the Pacific Northwest. That's right, my backyard. And before we get into some business, I just want to give a shout out to all of the boots on ground fans that came in last night for the game. I know my guy RC is on a plane back to Alaska right now. But there's a group photo of everybody that came to the game last night at Lumen Field. Shout out to my guy Mike Rock with the Larry Allen jersey right there and his better half Megan. We appreciate y'all showing up. And then, of course, you got Sherry Rowland from my neck of the woods down there in Puyallup, Tacoma. We see you. Sherry was down there with her kids. There I'm pictured with my two sons. And then we got Park Ranger behind my guy Mike Rock. We got RC next to him. And then we got RC's friend Jared, the super fan, but it looks like the Nacho Libre type of mask. I don't know. That's not my neck of the woods, but my guy was a super fan nonetheless. So shout out to all of the boots on ground fans that came to the game last night. I felt like family, but back to business. Man, what did you think about this game last night? What stood out to you the most other than this injury? I mean, that's the obvious. Let's not focus too much on the bad here today as we get the conversation rolling. Y'all make sure to show my girl Caitlyn some love. But Caitlyn, what stood out to you most in a positive sense about last night's game?
There were some other injuries, though, with that Matt Willetsko with his shoulder, the subluxation, the same injury he had last season.
Willetsko on the line?
Yes.
Yeah.
John Stevens with the knee injury, just needs an MRI.
Man, that's what I kept hearing all the time was injuries.
Ways.
How about Deuce Vaughn, though?
He's a touchdown machine. He looked super impressive.
I didn't think we were going to see Deuce Vaughn at all, at least in that first quarter. I didn't really see him that much. I seen him, I think, a couple times on special teams. But, man, he managed to get a score, and it was a big day, I think, for the running back unit. I know you are talking about, well, let's go, and those injuries are important. I kind of want to focus on the good here today because I've been hearing nothing but negative about these Cowboys.
With Deuce with that 14-yard reception for the touchdown?
Yeah. I mean, he looked like he was tackled. He shook him off and managed to get to pay dirt again.
Yes. You can't forget the Cooper Rush solidifying his spot at quarterback, too.
Yeah. You know, special shout out to all of the Will Grier lovers that have emerged from the Cooper Rush lovers crowd. Now we're saying that Will Grier should be QB2 over Cooper Rush. I don't know about last night's performance with Will Grier. I don't know what your thoughts about Will Grier.
Last night solidified it for Cooper Rush, yeah.
Yeah, I think you said that in a nutshell, Caitlyn, with the context. Yes, Cooper solidified QB2. I mean, I said there was two reasons. I mean, Cooper has started, 5-6 games in this league already. I mean, come on, Cowboy fans. We got to pick something else to argue about. That's too low-hanging fruit to be out here campaigning on the Will Grier is better than Cooper Rush train. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
But let's take a look at those stats while you bring that up. As the overall stats for the game, I mean, the Cowboys ate up some clock. I mean, the turnovers, I think, and the gashing. I think it was the gashing and the turnovers for me. I don't know. Did you see? It looked like the quarterback was running on us. Looked like Geno had pretty good couple passes out there in the first couple of series. I think I was surprised to see Geno Smith come out for the Seattle Seahawks, starting after all the talk about Drew Lock up here in the area. But the Cowboys had 293 total yards against the Seahawks, 358. We had about 199 passing yards, just under 200. You know, wasn't no big shoot 'em up, bang, bang game. Dallas Cowboys failed to get 100 yards on the ground. But like I said, I think it was a big night for the running back room. What do you think? Rico Dowdle showed up.
Rico Dowdle definitely solidified his as the top three in the running back role.
Right. As you take a look at the numbers here, Rico Dowdle had 8 carries for 38 yards. I thought he had a touchdown. Yeah, I think he did catch one for a touchdown. Yeah, it's maybe on the receiving end here. Let's take a look at this. Rico Dowdle, there we go. 2 catches for 9 yards for a score right there. So big night for the running back units. You know, big question for me has been going, you know, you've been following along, Caitlyn, and who's going to solidify this running back unit? I mean, Malik Davis has essentially fallen off the island. What's your thoughts about that?
I think that Rico Dowdle and Tony Pollard and Deuce Vaughn would be premier.
Right. At least at this stage of preseason, we still got one more game to go. Like I said, I didn't think we were going to see much of Deuce Vaughn. Shout out to Ben Salazar there tapping in, said Rico Dowdle did good for sure. Yeah, I was happy to see some improvements in the running back unit because we've been trying to figure out who's going to make this 53-man roster. And I know you had Malik Davis trying to poke fun at you there, but, you know, that's kind of the way it could swing as we seen. Remember, Rico Dowdle had that fumble at the goal line last game, remember? But he recovered nicely as we take a look at the overall stats here from the running back unit. I mean, Hunter Lipke still, my dark horse, is essentially fading out of the picture. I don't know what I was thinking. Malik Davis, 8 carries for 32 yards, so just under 100 yards rushing for the Cowboys on the day. But my question goes out to everybody while we're having the conversation rolling here with my girl Caitlyn is, which Cowboy impressed you the most last night? I'll toss that your way, Caitlyn. Which Cowboy impressed you the most last night?
Mm-hmm. Let me look over my notes.
It's all good. I mean, what's first Cowboy that comes to your mind?
Aaron Tolbert. He continues to impress.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Tolbert. I agree 100%. Tolbert, I think, is putting a little heat on Michael Gallup, if you ask me, at wide receiver 3. I think Gallup got a little bit of situation to worry about. I don't know. But, yes, Tolbert is continuing to shine, and that's good to see, especially after last season, right?
Yes, and Bell, too. Marquise, the cornerback.
I'm sorry, Caitlyn, go ahead.
Marquise Bell, the cornerback, he's good too.
Right.
He 10 tackles versus the Jags.
Yes, he did.
And
Yeah,
then
I seen his name out there a lot yesterday. Jesse Murphy's tapping in, says, what up, BG? Any news on Overshown? I think Caitlyn had the scoop on it, right? On your notes there?
Yes, yes. Just that he's fearing the ACL tear. We're waiting for the MRI results later today.
So waiting on the MRI results. Everybody put your prayers together, man. We are trying to hope for the best here. Man, you know, I can only imagine, you know, I was telling my son this on the way home last night. Everybody knows my son Bryce that plays football. He's part of this traveling team up here in Washington now. His goal, he shared with me, was to get into the NFL. And I had explained to him, like, these young men work their whole careers to get to where they're at, and then to sustain an injury, what that can do to you emotionally and mentally. You know what I mean? As we even seen QB1 go out about 5 weeks last month or last season with an injury. Like, you know, I don't wish injury on anybody, but we all know this injury opponent is undefeated. Freddie says, so is Overshown out or not? Hope not, for his sake. We don't know yet. Like Caitlyn just said, we've got to wait for the MRI results to come out. So I'm pretty sure one of the Cowboys writers or somebody close to the Cowboys will be tweeting that out. I know they were talking about that on the post-game shows on the status of Overshown. But let's get back to this Cowboy that impressed you the most. How about y'all? Did y'all see Jalen Tolbert out there? Let me throw the question to the audience out there. Which Cowboy impressed y'all the most last night? As Jalen's thrown out Tolbert, I agree with her 100%. Tolbert had a great game last night. Let's take a look at his yards right quick. Tolbert had 4 catches or 4 receptions for 66 yards on a 16.5 average. So we know he scored last game. He got in on pay dirt, his first score last season or last preseason game. But which Cowboy impressed y'all the most? Let's keep the conversation rolling. Jesse Murphy saying best case scenario, sprained ACL. I think we lost Caitlyn with the context there. She'll be back with us shortly here. Troy Park is talking about Tolbert too as well. Yes, I think Michael Gallup got a little bit to worry about. I mean, we seen some Kavontae Turpin last night too as well. You know, I know some fans have written off the Kavontae Turpin experiment, but I think he's a fantasy sleeper. You know what I mean? I'm gonna probably keep him in one of my leagues and stash him on the bench. But outside of that, I mean, the turnovers for me were a big deal yesterday, especially last night at the game, taking a look at the turnover battles. I mean, the Cowboys are giving up critical plays there. You know, with that interception, and then also with field position, you know, couldn't move the change, big punt returns, you know, special teams. Like, we were getting gashed last night. I don't know what game y'all seen. I don't care if it was second string or third stringers. We was getting gashed last night. Can I get a name in? What up, Joey? I see you, man. Appreciate you tapping in there. I think Caitlyn's still trying to hold on in the background. Says Overshown tweeted out, still blessed last night, just waiting for MRI official results. Okay. There we go. That's official news right there on our guy Overshown. I don't know. A lot of folks are saying Mozzie Smith was getting worked on the line too as well. I think I commented on one of the posts here. I mean, I just kept seeing Mozzie Smith come out the game. It was a little hard for me to really track, you know, at the upper level there at Lumen Field, what we had going on there with a close eye. But shout out to everybody that was watching Mozzie Smith. I've been getting some feedback that Mozzie Smith was getting worked on the line. Y'all, what's y'all's thoughts on Mozzie Smith last night? Kelly says it was the forced throwing resulting in turnovers and unnecessary penalties for me. Thank you for summing it up in a nutshell there. Shout out to the ladies on the East Coast. Y'all know Kelly out there, DC Nation Fan Club president. Appreciate you tapping in with some context here today. She says it was the forced throwing resulting in turnovers and unnecessary penalties. Yes, the penalties. Let's take a look at the penalties. Thank you, Kelly, for the context here. Penalties, Cowboys 8 for 62, 6 for 60 on the other side. But for me, it was the holding and the taunting. Was that Wanye Thomas out there with the taunting? Who's seen that taunting play out there? Caitlyn's tapping back in, still says Mozzie Smith, PFF's lowest graded defender last night. Through 2 weeks, he's not really impressed. Ooh, I mean, he is still a rookie after all, right? And we're talking about 2s and 3s in preseason. I mean, isn't it just amazing the amount of casual and goofy NFL fans that do not understand what the meaning of preseason is? Yeah, you know, we're trying to cut this 53-man roster down from about 90 to 53. So like we've been talking about in this running back unit, I've got the official depth chart up here for the Cowboys too. I'm going to share that here as we talk a little bit more about the running back unit. But yeah, Mozzie Smith, I heard, was getting worked at the line. And I actually had to look up. I was having some Anthony Brown PTSD last night, that number 30. I think, is that Wanye Thomas? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think so. I think I got the Cowboys official depth chart here. So let's take a look at that to add some more context to the show here today. We appreciate everybody joining. Y'all make sure, leave a comment. Let us know where you're watching from, baby, especially if you're tapping in for the first time. All right, we got the Cowboys depth chart here. So if you can take a look at that. You know, I was taking a look at the running back unit here. You know, you got Tony Pollard, Rico Dowdle, Malik Davis. You got Ronald Jones, Deuce Vaughn, and Hunter Lipke. Now, with Deuce Vaughn, 2 impressive showings back-to-back, one at home versus the Jags, and also now on the road versus the Seahawks. Like I said, I didn't think I was going to get a chance to see him, but he showed up there later in the game. But, you know, it's looking kind of grim for a few of these running backs named Ronald Jones, Hunter Lipke, and probably Malik Davis as we continue to get through preseason. Going back home, the Cowboys are going to leave the West Coast, you know, the best coast, and head back home to Frisco as they're going to host the Las Vegas Raiders at AT&T Stadium. But taking a look at this depth chart here, you know, something to pay attention to when it comes to this running back unit, because after Ezekiel Elliott signing with the New England Patriots, which, oh, by the way, I'm seeing Stacey Elliott repping the Patriots now, and that's, you know, that's just breaking my heart. I'm seeing him in a Patriots uniform. Like, you know, this whole Zeke thing is kind of like a hard pill to swallow. But, you know, Jerry Jones don't have that pull in case of emergency lever for Ezekiel Elliott in the running back unit, as a lot of fans are saying maybe it's a bad deal, we let Zeke get away. But looks like that what we have on slate is going to be enough for this season under this Texas Coast offense that a lot of fans are still unhappy to not see Dak Prescott get any reps in, y'all. As we take a look about the quarterback, how about that quarterback play from last night as we see QB2, Cooper Rush, and Will Grier for the Cowboys. We take a look at their numbers here. I'll just pull that back up as we take off this depth chart here. We'll take a look at the comparisons, because there's a lot of fans that are running around saying Cooper Rush should be QB3 and Will Grier should be QB2. Well, here it is. Will Grier, 13 of 18 for 136 yards with 1 INT. Cooper Rush, 9 of 14 for 96 with 1 TD. I don't know, first glance, when you look at that, who has the most value? Wanye had an absolute ugly taunting penalty that resulted in Seattle. And yes, thank you. I think it was a third down that made a stop on that third down play or something. I seen 30 flash in there. I said, man, is that Anthony Brown? I started having PTSD all game looking at Wanye on the defensive side of the ball. So, yeah, that was very critical. Getting to that word, discipline. These Cowboys, especially for the second string and third string guys that are trying to continue to make this team going into week 3, the discipline, man, that was critical, that penalty was. Thank you for adding some context there, Caitlyn, on the back end there. Facebook user tapping in says, Deuce Vaughn should be running back 2. I agree with you. No arguments there. I was saying that last week, so special shout out to Facebook user. Another Facebook user says, I'll take Dowdle for running back 2. He looked good. Deuce can be an RB3. It's going to be hard for Deuce to pass protect. I agree with you there on the pass protection. Yes. As we see a difference of opinions, and that's all good. We welcome them all as we recap The preseason game last night, Seahawks hosting the Dallas Cowboys up here at Lumen Field, which, by the way, the Cowboys side of the field was the most packed. Shout out to all my boots on ground Cowboy fans that was out here. We were the most packed. I was looking at the opposite side of the Seahawks. I was looking at the home field side. They weren't even packed. So what's up with that, Seahawks fans? Where are all the 12s out there today? Y'all got some splaining to do. Will Wharf tapping in says, what up with Overshown? Did he tear anything? No, we're waiting on the MRI results per my co-host Caitlyn. Still tapping in with some context over there. Kelly says, Will Greer is the bane of my existence. Like I said earlier, we are going to be in the market for a QB3. Ooh, man, you should. That's polarizing right there. That's the opposite side of the spectrum because there's a lot of folks, I like to call them the Cooper Rush lovers turned Will Greer lovers, saying that Will Greer should be over QB2 Cooper Rush. But as we can see, the women here clearly have a different opinion of the guy. Shout out to all the ladies tapping in here today. Appreciate that context, Kelly. Jesse Murphy says, when is the MRI? We should get some results here today. So I'm waiting if they're not out already. At some point here today, we're going to find out what those MRI results are. Like we said, the Cowboys are leaving the West Coast. They're traveling back home to Frisco, Texas. The remaining of training camp will be out there. They got a couple of practices open on the 22nd and the 23rd, I believe. So make sure if you're in the DFW Metroplex, you get a chance to go out there. They got a couple of open practices there at the Star as the Dallas Cowboys are set to host the Las Vegas Raiders next weekend for the final preseason game of the season. A special shout out to everybody tapping in. Like I said, if you're tapping in for the first time, leave me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, especially if you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, or on X over there. Shout out to my guy, Troy Park, who's been holding it down on X over there. Shout out to my guy, Mike Rock, last night streaming right down there by the tunnel. We shared that video into the secret supporter group and also in OAT. So shout out to my guy, Mike Rock, last night, baby. He was out there representing. Just to give y'all a quick snapshot if you're tapping in late. All my boots on ground Cowboy fans that tapped in last night. You see my guy Mike Rock there, been holding the content down over here. 2+. He is the Larry Allen of BDG, baby. He was out there streaming down there low at the tunnel last night for the Cowboys coming out. Shout out to my girl Sherry Rowland there with the throwback image jersey. She had her kids out there. I had my two sons out there, Bryce and Bryant. That's Park Ranger behind my guy Mike Rock, and then RC from Alaska. And his guy out here in the Pacific Northwest, Jared. So shout out to my guy, Jared. They got the Nacho Libre mask on there. He was super fanning it down there. It was thick, man. We was thick on the Cowboys side of the bench, y'all. I'm here to tell you that I'm very disappointed to see that, you know, Seahawks fans, they're supposed to be all about their 12s, can't even show up to a home preseason game and pack your side of this bench. But throwing this question back out, if you're just joining here, we're doing the day after recap show. I'm BG. My girl Caitlyn is on the back end providing the context. We had here. We look like we should got some more technical difficulties, but the show must roll on. I throw out the question, which Cowboy impressed you most? If you're just tapping in here, I would love to hear from somebody on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or on X, if that's you over there, that platform owned by Elon Musk. Shout out to my guy, Park Ranger, man. He gave me some cool digs, man. I love when my supporters come with gifts, man. My guy came up here with a whole bag of gifts. Y'all know Park Ranger is a Park Ranger for real. He's out there at Mount Rainier today. Him and his lovely wife are out there today. They came to their first Cowboys game, man. I am so honored, you know, that one of my supporters came up to their first ever NFL game last night. I know it's just preseason, but all my diehards who were tapping in know it's the lifestyle. We are excited here for preseason. But shout out to my guy, Park Ranger, for all of the digs, throwing in the national parks and services hats and the gear. Gave me a couple of T-shirts, gave me about 3 or 4 hats. I don't know. I got a couple we might give away here. So shout out to my guy, Park Ranger, the big-time Greenback supporter who visited last night. Just to give you another look at Park Ranger, there he is in the back next to my guy, right behind my guy Mike Rock there. So shout out to Park Ranger and his better half there is taking the photo. So we appreciate y'all coming up to Lumen Field last night. That was an awesome experience. And that, quite frankly, is the value proposition of this page on Facebook. So if you're following us on Facebook, that's what makes us build different. We connect Cowboy fans or fans of all 32 NFL teams at live events. But let's get back to this context here on these Cowboys, y'all. Which Cowboy impressed the most last night? I mean, for me, it was Tolbert, essentially. I was glad to see our guy Tolbert have back-to-back good showings, only if it's preseason games. He's out there showing that he belongs. And I really like it most because this is what I like to call a fire from the bottom. Some of y'all may have heard that phrase or two before. You know, you catch fire from the bottom. You know, when you're an organization, you got your top performers at the top. You know, you got your guy just coming in who's on fire, like literally on fire. And I think that's what Tolbert is. He's creating some fire coming up this wide receiver unit because Michael Gallup, you know, is he going to have another year like a couple of years ago before his injury? We know he didn't have that great of a showing last season, you know, especially after coming off that injury. We had high expectations for our guy, Jalen Tolbert. He was lining up 3 yards off the ball. I mean, there were some questions on this wide receiver unit. We've seen some Kevontae Turpin usage here in a couple of these preseason games. But for me, who impressed the most, that's my guy, Jalen Tolbert. I'm glad to see him have a bounce back, especially in these preseason games, because like I said, that fire from the bottom is going to put pressure on Gallup to perform. It's going to hold Cooks even more accountable with that 4.3 speed that's still going to be able to take the top off of defenses. I mean, with these Cowboys and this new Texas Colts offense, y'all, to me, I may be biased because I'm a Cowboy fan, but it's kind of like pick your poison. Especially as, you know, a lot of folks are saying, why aren't we seeing Dak Prescott in a preseason game? Well, he don't have to knock off the rust, baby. He coming into year 8, and whether what side of the fence you're on, whether you're pro Dak or anti-Dak, he's still our quarterback. And I think with Jalen Tolbert bringing that fire up from the bottom is going to put some pressure on these other wide receivers to perform at a higher level. And that's what you want. That's what we want. That's what we like to see in preseason is guys who are going to make this cut. And we know, especially after these last 2 showings, I believe that Jalen Tolbert makes this team. But I throw that back out to y'all. Let's hear some more context. Kelly says, Asim or awesome. There we go. Awesome Tolbert and Deuce stood out. Okay. All right. We got some YouTubers tapping in over here. Appreciate y'all tapping in on the show here today. Love my YouTube subs over there. Says Tolbert is showing that he's about that. I'm with you, Peasy. I see you over there on YouTube, baby. Appreciate you tapping in over here on the content. Freddie says that linebacker Sam made some plays. You talking about Sam Williams? Yeah, I think Sam Williams still trying to pick people up and slam them, right? Number 54. I think I'm with you, Freddie. I think I seen him out there, a couple sights of Sam. Jennifer says, I'm still not sold on Deuce. Well, maybe, you know, Jennifer brings up a good point. Let's go back to this Cowboys depth chart, y'all. Let's take a look at this Cowboys depth chart, as I wanted to make sure and point that out to y'all when we looked at this initially. If you take a look at the depth chart here, where is Deuce Vaughn on the depth chart, y'all? Well, when we take a look at it, he's down here on the 4th team, down here with Ronald Jones and Hunter Lipke. But after Rico Dowdle's impressive showing last night of getting pay dirt, he didn't drop the baby. So shout out to the guys who didn't drop the baby last night. Rico Dowdle got in for the score. His stock went back up, especially after dropping the baby last week on the goal line, right? Then we got Malik Davis here, which, I mean, his stats from last night, Malik Davis had 8 carries for 32 yards on a 4-yard average. So great point, Jennifer. If you're not sold on Deuce Vaughn, maybe we're going to see some more Deuce Vaughn against the Las Vegas Raiders, as we maybe not see Deuce Vaughn move up the rank. But that's what you love about preseason, because we're trying to find out. There's about 90 some odd men on this team. It's going to be cut drastically down here real soon. And it's going to be a bunch of free agents out there. But great context, Jennifer. Loving both sides of the argument here. I'm sold on Deuce Vaughn. I think he makes this team. I mean, he's small. He's going to have that knock on him. And, you know, when it came to Seattle, I mean, a lot of folks knocked Russell Wilson, and he still managed to win a Super Bowl up here as a quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks being a short quarterback. So I get it. I mean, there's a lot of knock on Deuce Vaughn out there, but I think his skill set, despite his size, he warrants belonging on this roster, and I think he makes this 53-man team. But turn on your notifications, baby. Thank you, Jennifer, for tapping in with the context here. I see you, Kevin. Appreciate you tapping in, baby. Slamming Williams, lethal. Is that my girl Felicia Kimmin over there? I think I recognize that language right there. Vondell says DE Land is going to be pretty good. Oh, talking about Isaiah Land, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you, Vondell, for tapping in here today on Facebook, man. Appreciate y'all. Especially if you're tapping in for the first time, leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. Facebook user tapping in says Damone Clark brought some pop. Wanye looked good, but can't be getting personal fouls and taunting. Thank you. Penalties, discipline. Penalties, discipline, man. I hope we do not have this conversation this season about the Dallas Cowboys and penalties, y'all. Not especially in this Texas Coast offense. I think there's still some question marks out on it as we speak. Kevin says, I'm sold on Deuce. Like I said, some folks are sold on Deuce. Some folks are not, like my girl Jennifer tapping in here today. And some folks are sold on Will Greer, and some folks are not sold on Cooper Rush. If you pick it up, what I put down. I see you, Felicia. I knew that was you. Kelly says, even though Wanye made a pro-choice adjustment, I appreciate him flying across the field. And the Jalen Brooks, they better find a way to keep him. I see you, Kelly. Yeah, Wanye had that penalty. I was having flashbacks, y'all. I mean, I was thinking that was Anthony Brown. I was like, who is number 30? I couldn't see the name from the bird's eye view, literally, that I had up there. But I was like, is that Anthony Brown? And then the whole game, I just kept watching number 30, thinking, is that Anthony Brown? I see you, Vondell, repping for Stafford, Virginia. Appreciate everybody tapping in as we still have the Dallas Cowboys depth chart, but going to the wide receiver, you got Brandon Cooks there, Michael Gallup. So we got CD1, we got wide receiver 1, CD Lamb, wide receiver 2, Brandon Cooks, then Gallup. Simi Fioco still trying to make this team. We've seen a lot of Kavontae Turpin these first 2 preseason games. Jalen Tolbert, I think, has solidified his spot on this unit. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe in one of these other receivers like Simi or Kavontae is going to have more of a breakout against the Raiders. But I love the fire from the bottom, as I shared with y'all that analogy that the fire from the bottom with Jalen Tolbert is a good thing. You know, you want that fire from the bottom because it's going to hold guys above them like Cooks, like even Lamb, Gallup especially. You know, he should be feeling the heat the most from this Jalen Tolbert back-to-back. Good showing out there, especially after he was getting drugged by a lot of fans last season. Everybody was saying that Tolbert was a bust. I remember I had high expectations for the guy too, but he really didn't play that much. And then when he did get in the game, when you line up 3 yards off the ball, it kind of matters, you know. But I'm happy to see him bounce back, and I think a lot of other folks are too. But we got free discussion here for the remaining of the show, so throw up your questions if you got them. Like I said, shout out to my guy Park Ranger on the digs, baby. Y'all see it says Kings Canyon National Park. It's 950, man. It's a clean lid, man. Y'all know BG loves a new lid. So shout out to my guy Park Ranger on the digs. You know, I love when my supporters show up. Shout out to my guy RC from Alaska. We literally connected Alaska and California. You know, we are solidified pretty much here on the West Coast, if you know what I mean. We was out in full effect, boots on ground. Like I said, the stadium was packed on the Cowboys side of the ball. I'm here to tell you, man, it was so many fans that kept coming up to that upper level. I was like, how many seats do they have left? Like, I didn't know they had that many seats up there. But as you look across, and if you just scroll up to the story mode here on the page of Build Different Group. So if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on YouTube, if you're on X over there, you hop over here to Facebook and you check out my stories. I got a bunch of footage there from behind the scenes of boots on ground coming into Lumen Field there. And I panned the stadium there. And you can see yourself on the other side. They weren't packed. So come on, 12. What's up with that? Facebook user says 30 flash, but was always on the edge of getting in trouble. Yeah, I mean, get a little too cocky. I seen it too when as soon as he turned around and I seen him jawing right after the play because I was like, ooh, that was a critical stop. And I think it was third, you know, they were going to be on the 4th down, and essentially that penalty cause them to move the sticks and get them out of that bad position that, our punter was doing. I don't know, man. A lot of folks talking about special teams here a little bit. What do y'all think about our kicker, Brandon Aubrey? Some folks are saying he's good. I seen him in preseason warmups, and, man, the guy was booting it, from the kickoff position down to almost through the uprights from where he was kicking off. So I don't know. A lot of folks are still saying there's some question marks on our guy, Brandon Aubrey. What are your thoughts? If you're tapping in here to the show late, let me know as you join the audience here. I mean, he's the only kicker the Cowboys still have on this roster, if I'm not mistaken. Let me take a look at this Dallas Cowboys depth chart right quick. Yeah, Brandon Aubrey is still the only kicker on this roster currently, y'all. So what's y'all's thoughts on that? Kevin Lamar says that penalty should have been offsetting. Yeah, I know it was double, but they always get the second guy. That's what I was telling my son Bryce. He was very into the game there. He was trash talking some Seattle Seahawks fans that was next to us. Man, I'll tell you, it's good to be back in a NFL stadium, even if it's an away stadium. The trash talking is there. Preseason is here. But yes, they always get the second guy. That's what I was telling my son Bryce. Like, it don't pay to get in them type of situations because they always get the second guy. Facebook user tapping back in says, I like what I see from Aubrey. As a reminder, if you're tapping in here for the first time, make sure you register with StreamYard so we can put a name with a face. But shout out to all of our Facebook users tapping in here today. Mondale says the team looks like they have more fire this year than last year, but they are playing fast and physical. Well, depending on which kind of Cowboy fans you talk to, man, according to some Dallas Cowboy fans in our fan base, the sky is falling. There my guy go right there. What up, Park Ranger? I see you in the building, man. Appreciate the digs, rocking the fresh lid. Gave me a coffee cup and a belt. Man, my dude laced me up, man. Appreciate you, Park Ranger. Hope you enjoy it out there today as I see you tapping in. I know you and the wife is out there touring Mount Rainier. And I know you're pretty excited about that being a legitimate park ranger. Y'all, we have a legitimate park ranger. Congratulations to you and yours on the first game, your first ever NFL game as you traveled up from Visalia, California, all the way up here to Seattle, Lumen Field to see your boys come away with an L. And like I said, depending on who you talk to, some Cowboy fans are saying, the sky is falling. Jennifer tapping back in that maybe might not be sold on Deuces, not sold on Aubrey either. I know it's another USFL experiment, and I know our patience runs thin with the USFL experience, especially after we signed Cavante Turpin being the MVP of the USFL. And, I mean, we didn't have anybody drop the rock this game, thank God. It was only one interception by our guy, Will Greer, trying to get cute out there. As soon as he let it go, I knew it was getting picked off. There he goes right there, tapping in from out right there. My guy's dedicated, man. That's what I love. It was a pleasure getting to meet you last night, man. It was a pleasure getting to know y'all a little bit more on the walk back to our parking spot there, off-site there. And that's what it's all about here, baby, as we connect NFL fans and live experiences, man. That's our value proposition as a Built Different group. So if you're tapping in for the first time today and you're really enjoying the content, make sure you hit that white badge with a heart over there. I'm looking for one more supporter on the broadcast today. That's all we need is one more to complete the quest for the six-pack. One more, get your name on here when you sign up. You have a 1 in 6 chance of winning. There's some Cowboys in here, y'all. You know what they say, especially when it comes to size, right? Dynamite come in small packages. Greg tapping back in says, but dude, this football, John, is part of the game. Next thing you know, they will make it a rule that after each play, you have to shake hands. I appreciate the good laugh there, Freddie. Yeah, you got to be able to see both sides of the argument, but still disciplined. You got to know, like, man, we are the Cowboys. Like last time I checked, them zebras, they love them Cowboys like them haters, if you know what I mean. I hear you, though, Freddie. You're right, man. The game is, to some folks, gotten soft. Kelly says, I can see it being offsetting, going back to that 1-yard penalty. had both started at the same time, but Wanye was the ringleader. I'm getting ready to put Aubrey in the bird box file. No, Kelly, not the bird box. No, boy, y'all know when Kelly put somebody in the bird box, it is not good. I believe Mayher was in the bird. You can call him the bird brain last season, right? I know Kelly's not sold on our kicker either. I know a lot of Cowboy fans aren't sold on the USFL project / FIFA dude, Brandon Aubrey. But he's the only kicker that's currently on roster, so I don't know. Maybe he's going to get some practice in. I need my boots on ground Cowboy fans out there that's going to the Star this week to check out them boys at training camp to get some footage, man, to see if Aubrey, is he practicing on them little small field goals Dan Bailey made back there? I'm with you, Bondale. Says those are the fans who don't know the game called football. I can relate, baby. You know, there are a lot of casuals and goofies as they begin to emerge, especially now with the preseason hype rolling in. Like we said, your average NFL fan is just waking up. You know, people are like, man, y'all are excited about preseason. Y'all are posting about preseason. Y'all like going to preseason games. Like, it's just preseason. Well, to some of us who are built different, quite frankly, it's a lifestyle, baby. And as you can see, my voice is still cracking. I was happy that I was able to keep that much, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get into a show here with y'all today, because my boys was driving me crazy up there as those penalties, like we talked about, Wanye, were critical. And, you know, just seeing they had even an opportunity left with 2 minutes left in the game. I think we were still down by, 8 points? It was still an opportunity, but we kept going back, man, backwards, penalties. Kelly says Mayher was the original bird box. There we go. And Greg the Leg was bird box 2.0. Oh, man. Kelly got the leg of shame going on over there with our kickers. Y'all pray for my girl, Kelly. Michael says, it's all year long for me. It's right, baby. 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, baby. It's a lifestyle, man. We know not everybody is built like that, and that's cool. So shout out to all of the casuals and the goofies that are just waking up because it's preseason. And yes, there is a small group of NFL fans that really care about our team and track our rookies, our second strings, and our third stringers as they narrow this roster down to 53 before we kick off on Sunday Night Football. You know, we're on the most important game of opening weekend, baby. Not Thursday Night Football, not between the Chiefs and the Lions. That game's, it really don't mean that much. But Sunday Night Football, division, NFC East game, Dallas on the road, Dak, a.k.a. the King of New York. You know, I don't think anybody in New York has beaten Dak Prescott since 2017. You know, he's literally the king of New York as he strolls back in. Will he remain the king of New York? A lot of question marks as we get to the closure of the show. I appreciate everybody tapping in. It's been the day after recap show with your boy BG and Caitlyn with the context here who made an appearance. So shout out to the ladies here today. You know what I mean? You can do it. Don't be nervous if you love your Cowboys, if you follow your Cowboys, and it's a lifestyle for you here. Ladies, you're in the right place. We're going to see some more of Caitlyn with the context here this season. So special shout out to all of the ladies, especially to She Loves the Cowboys. Shout out to my girl Kelly over there. Hey, Kelly, can you see about getting our girl Caitlyn into She Loves the Cowboys over there, please? As we wrap it up on the ladies' note here today. Ladies, no football too. And shout out to my guy Park Ranger who brought his lady, his number one cheerleader here last night, as they were a couple seats and a couple rows down from us. Their very first NFL game ever. And they traveled a couple of states up north to see your boy BG and my guy RC coming down from RK, man. It was like the trifecta on the West Coast, if you know what I mean. But I appreciate everybody tapping in here today. It's been the BG, Caitlyn with the context recap day after show. We got the Las Vegas Raiders coming up this next weekend. We still got some things we got to do. We're going to find out what's going to happen with this running back unit. Or the Cowboys are going to remain with our guy. I'm serious, y'all. I need some footage out there of our guy, Brandon Aubrey, at the Star, making sure he's practicing on that Dan Bailey field goal, because I think that's the only way he's going to make this team is putting in them reps and getting that work, baby. I'm your boy, BG, the Cowboys Unifier, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me today. I know there's a lot of folks y'all can tap in with, especially on LinkedIn, especially on YouTube, and on that platform over there, formerly known as Twitter. Shout out to X. See y'all in the gym on the next episode.